What's up, everyone? This is DJ CQ, and you're listening to us live here on Phatmoto Tips and Tricks. It is December, and I got Mr. Brenton Jones here waiting to be let in the lobby, along with a video intro of his bike. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him up, and we're going to go and introduce him to everybody that's listening right now. Mr. Brenton, I'm going to bring up your bike first. And here you go. Let me bring up the correct view so we can get us going. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself, brother?
Doing great, man. This is an amazing bike, dude. I'm looking at it like I'm jealous.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, it looks amazing, dude. Like I really like the lights on it. For one, the headlight reminds me of an Indian headlight.
Yeah.
The Pathfinder light, I believe, is what they call it. But yeah, dude, the exhaust, everything is clean. Uh, looks amazing, and we got it on loop, y'all, for a reason because it's such an amazing bike, just to look at, and I really like it. It's you've done a good job. And how fast does it go? That's the main question everybody likes to ask.
Oh, yeah. So this one, I've only had it up to 58 miles an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll
This
get back.
one's
We'll
this
get
one's geared a little different.
Yeah, we'll get back more into the bike here in a little bit. So I'm gonna take her back down. We're gonna talk a little bit more. I'll let her keep on. I'll let her stay up there for a little bit longer. I'd like to talk about a little bit about how you grew up in McClenny, Florida.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So McClenny is right on the Florida Georgia line, and well, back then it was just nothing but woods. So
Right.
a very country life is how I came up. At a very young age. I stayed in the woods.
Wow. That's I didn't live totally in the woods. We have a place in Floresville that I grew up on here and there. We'd have it for like a vacation home and stuff like that. It was on a 32-acre farm. We had someone that was a sharecropper at the time that would take care of the property while we were gone, and he had his own animals and stuff. And that's how I was raised, is on the farm, 32 acres back then. And that's always fun to be out in the middle of nowhere and be able to have stuff like this.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and speaking of how you grew up, everybody knows I lived a sheltered life. My adoptive family didn't really let me be around motorbikes or motorcycles or go-karts or anything like fun like that. But my adoptive my biological family, yes, by far, every single one of my brothers was on a motorbike, growing up. So let's talk about life growing up. Who what do you do, growing up?
Well, growing up, out in the woods, we had dirt bikes, and there was always motorcycles around. My stepdad, he always had a couple of Harleys in the background. So my my childhood was based around motorcycles, and you know, I've just been around it all my life.
See, that's pretty cool. So you grew up holding a wrench in your hand, pretty much, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's
Yep.
good. The first thing my dad taught me how to do with mechanics is change the oil on a vehicle, and I still do my own oils to this day. And every once in a while, I'll get lazy and I'll take it into Walmart, but I always buy the Royal
Yeah.
Purple. I always buy Royal Purple for even my Fat Moto. I got Royal Purple in it. But
Oh, yeah.
anyhow, so would you say your dad was probably one of your fondest memories growing up?
Yeah, my stepdad, Mike, I could remember him working on that. He had a 72 shovel head. So as a kid, he'd be working on his motorcycle, and I'd have my bicycle right next to him, working on my bicycle as he was working on his. So,
Nice.
I mean, that's pretty much how those memories kind of got me into this hobby.
Wow. So, who would you say is your biggest support right now? And
It would hands down be my wife. Me and her are together, just me and her and the two boys most of the year. So I travel for work, and we're in an RV for most of the year. So it's just me and
and
her.
do you need a CDL for this RV?
Oh, no, no. In
No.
Florida, you don't have to, because it's not a commercial vehicle.
Oh, okay, cool. but
Yeah.
it is a pretty decent sized vehicle if I because I've seen pictures
Oh
of it
yeah.
and it's huge.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
40-foot A-class diesel pusher.
wow, yeah, that's a big bus. Now let's talk a little bit what brought you into Fat Moto. What
Oh sure.
let's what
So
we kind of
it's
skipped
kind of
over
a
that.
funny it's kind of a funny story. My background in motorcycles and stuff. Well, when me and my wife got together, she's not fond of motorcycles. Her
Right,
dad at a young age laid a motorcycle down, so she doesn't like them. Um, I made a promise when we first got together that I wouldn't ride motorcycles. But me coming from I had to weasel my way in, so we kind of met in the middle.
right,
I sold her on Phatmoto because, for one, they only did 25 miles an hour, and it's a bicycle. I'm not on the highway,
exactly.
so she bought it. She wasn't.
In which way?
She, that was my foot in the door.
Yes.
She didn't know it was going to turn out like this.
Yeah.
But
Is she okay with the bike as it is right now?
yeah, she sees my passion. She sees my love for this hobby, and she's very supportive.
Yeah, and see, my wife is the same. She's the one that said put the $200 down on the sale. So I have her support. I have her. She has my back and everything. And it's amazing when your other half agrees with you some of the times with your hobbies. Because then it really makes you feel special inside. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely. So
and happy wife is a happy life. So,
absolutely. So with that, I'm gonna take down your intro video here real fast, and I'm
all
gonna
right.
get those prepped up for get them ready to get moved over. Um, so let's see here. As you said, your biggest support is your wife, pretty much.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, that I think that's an amazing thing because like my wife, she's a little bit of a bigger girl, so she's wanting to lose more weight before she gets on the rover, because she's afraid her legs will get burned on the exhaust, and I don't blame her.
Yeah,
In fact, when I first get my all-terrain, whenever that comes, hopefully very very soon, y'all. Tomorrow's the first. I'm really hoping to put it together and be able to start doing a project start type build and still ride my rover to work and all that good stuff. So
oh
let's go
yeah.
ahead and
Anybody
start.
that's grew up around dirt bikes and stuff, they know hitting that exhaust pipe ain't fun.
No, and I people have probably seen the paint job I did on my exhaust. It looked beautiful. The problem I created is I used the flameproof, the very high temp VHTs, spray
Yeah,
paint from the AutoZone cells and stuff. I used that. And I thought it would be rated high enough, but the only thing that lasted on that paint job was the primer.
yeah,
And the bell. Yeah, the bell is the only thing that really survived because it wasn't too hot. But it was a beautiful burnt orange color, copperish color that I selected, and it's sadly gone now. But
no.
the air pipe is still good. So we're gonna go ahead and bring up your photos again. And we're gonna start talking about the different photos that you've sent me about your bike and your first bike, in fact. And we're gonna go and bring that bike up right now.
Oh yeah,
So
the
there she
infamous
is.
2019 Phatmoto Rover with the V lot or V
V
brakes.
brakes. Yep.
Yeah,
Jinx.
yeah.
So anyhow, that's a really nice looking bike. I really like it. The fact that do you still have it, by the way?
Actually, I sold that bike to purchase my first all-terrain.
Okay, very good. So the next picture, if I can remember right, we're going to bring that up real fast, if I can. Come on, mouse, work for me, please. There we go.
Oh yeah,
The unboxing. That's the initial buy there.
yeah.
So
This is the first Phatmoto I got. This was a 2020.
very good. Let's look at it. That's it there. That's the red one, or is
Oh,
that
this is the gray and
gray and red?
what
That's right. I see
gray
it
and
right
red. Yeah,
there. I see it right there. So, do you mind if I keep on just thumbing through?
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Very good. Now here she is standing without the engine in there. Uh,
Yep, I didn't even bother installing the new engine. It's still in the box.
yeah, you were telling me about that at one point in time.
Oh yeah.
So tell me about a little bit about the bike in the background. What's up with that bike?
All right, so it's a 125 four-speed manual, and before I even bought the all-terrain, I wanted to do this. I already had it planned out before the all-terrain even got to me.
Mhm.
I bought this bike off of Facebook Marketplace for I believe $500,
Wow,
and
not bad.
knowing that I was going to strip it down immediately.
Right. And didn't you say this engine was on the bike or is on the bike?
That bike has been sold.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, I put that engine back in it and sold it for $100 more than I paid for it.
Wow, so
Um,
you profited on that bike. That's good.
yeah, I did. Mainly because I went with a electric start LaFan engine, and you'll see that in the
And if
next few
the next few
pictures.
pictures here.
Yeah.
Let's go and thumb back on those. The bike stripped down and with
Yep.
that same motor mocked up in there, correct?
Yeah, this is the first fit test. I wasn't sure if this vision was going to work until this day.
Yeah.
Um, and to my surprise, it
Worked out
worked out
perfectly.
beautifully. Yeah, it really did.
Looks like it worked out perfectly. So we'll go ahead
It
and
really did.
back off that real fast and keep on going. So here
All
we
right, so
go.
this is where I knew for sure that this motor was going to work with the all-terrain. When the
Yeah.
motor is completely centered in the frame, as you can see, the drive sprocket is directly in line with the drive chain.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. And the fact that it gives you play, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It actually, it, in the next few pictures, you'll see my mounting bracket that I designed. I actually designed it to where you can shift it left or right for better chain fitment.
Let me see if I can bring that up real fast. So here's the mounting plate that you came up, the first mounting
First
plate.
mountain plate. Yep, this is just a piece of angle iron that I started cutting and fiddling with to see if I could get this motor mounted.
Wow. So, and where'd you buy this angle iron from? Just a regular store, or where'd you have to get it?
Oh, I got it from Tractor Supply.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep. Yep.
Very good. Everybody knows I work there, so
Oh
thanks for
yeah.
buying from Tractor Supply.
Oh yeah. I
Uh,
live in that place.
yeah, unfortunately, sometimes I do too, but uh, nah. Fortunately enough, I do live there some of the day. So we'll keep on moving. That's what it looks like side by side, y'all.
Yep. So
Now,
this is after I got the angle iron. I had to notch it out so the motor wouldn't hit the angle iron, and
right?
as you can see, and then cut the angle out to where the foot peg mounts on the bottom of the engine don't hit the angle iron.
I really like the way you did this because the way I would have thought to do it initially, my initial first intuition of guessing of how to would do this would be to weld the mounting plate. But no, I asked you earlier if that would be something you would want to do, and you're like, no, because this gives you more play.
Yes, it completely. You can move this engine wherever you want it, forward, back, and when you get into adding the intake manifold, you're going to need the movement because it is super
Super
tight.
tight, yeah.
Yep.
And it's amazing how you came up with all this. As you were growing up, did your dad teach you how to do all this, or did you just figure it out all on your own?
Actually, the metalworking comes from my job. I'm a millwright by trade. I work on power plants and
Oh, wow.
natural gas and steam turbine engines for GE, General Electric.
Wow, that's crazy. So kind of like the ones you see down at Browning Lake and Calaveras Lake near San Antonio. That's the way we use the coal, and they have a lake down there that they get all the turbines spinning and stuff, and that's what they use for cooling, I guess, down there. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool that you work on that. But yeah, so how did you cut? How are you cutting this stuff?
with a 4-inch grinder
4-inch
or a
grinder.
Metabo, or I have a Milwaukee grinder 4-inch, and yeah, just mark it out and cut it all out, and then smooth all the
Smooth it
edges.
out with sandpaper and stuff. Get it going.
Yeah, or
My friend,
a tiger paw wheel on the grinder will smooth it all out.
okay, yeah, my friend Tim probably would have used like a oh, what are those things called? I think what did you say it was again?
I actually have two different cutting things. I have a 90 grinder, a die grinder, and then also a 4-inch grinder.
Okay, that's what he would use is the circular discs.
Yeah.
And we'll probably see that. I think we saw that in one of your pictures coming up here. So this is the engine mounted, and
Yeah.
Man, I love
This
that.
is me fitting the exhaust to make sure it was going to flow with the frame properly
Right.
and actually not strike the down tube. And it worked out perfectly. It's literally a quarter of an inch away from the down tube.
And see, I like how you actually put in, a heat shield.
Yeah. So not only do I have the heat shield, I also wrap
You
the
wrapped it.
pipe behind the heat shield. That way I can literally rest my leg on this pipe while in full operation and it will not burn me.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
good. 'Cause, like, I know a lot of times when you're going into turns and you're kinda going fast, you gotta lean,
Oh
this
yeah.
way, and if you're going to the left, because your exhaust is on the right,
Yeah.
you could accidentally touch that exhaust very easily.
Oh
Um
yeah. So through trial and error, after burning myself a couple times, yeah, I wrapped the pipe.
Yeah. So, did you prime the pipe or anything like that before doing that? Did you
No,
have to treat it
these
any kinda way?
these pipes come primed black stock.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
yeah, so I really didn't have to worry about the paint or anything. Now over time, the heat will peel the paint. You just have to get the material clean and then reapply paint,
Reapply it.
like you were talking earlier.
Yeah, and I like I said, I use that VHT, high temp 2,000-degree paint or fire they claim it as fireproof, which I
Yeah.
believe it because when I finished that exhaust, I guess there was some gassing still going on from the paint not being completely dry, so I had
Oh.
flame that thing caught fire, it did. My
Mm.
exhaust literally caught fire, y'all, and
Oh, that
I was
sucks.
it did. I got off the bike real fast, and then I yeah, it was just all a blur. So anyhow, let's keep on moving. Let's see here. So this bike is pretty cool to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah, that's my big boy. This bike was actually passed down to me from my brother when he passed away. This was his pride and joy. It's a '99 Kawasaki Drifter Indian replica,
It's
and
beautiful.
it is a beautiful bike. Unfortunately, it's in storage right now, waiting for me to start working on her, but that's coming soon.
How soon? Do we know
Uh,
yet?
I'm in the market for a house and a shop. So as soon as I get the shop,
Taken
the
care of?
bike will be going in the shop, and I'll be
That
completely restoring it.
that'll be nice. So let's show another picture side of it.
It's a
It's got the highway
1500.
bars and you got the feet, stops there. That's
Oh
nice.
yeah.
And the fact that it has some big old lights on there. I like that.
Oh yeah. It's a beautiful bike.
It really is. You know, and it looks good. I like the air cleaner on it. It's huge. And how many cc's is it?
That's 1500. It's a
1,500?
pretty big engine.
Pretty big engine on there. Now I
Oh yeah.
can't really tell by these photos, is it air cooled or liquid cooled?
It's air cooled.
Okay, air cooled.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Alright, so up next, we're gonna show another picture here. What are we looking at here?
All right. So this is the first time anybody's ever put a pit bike hydraulic caliper on one of our Phatmotos, and I did this using the stock rotor. The only thing I had to do because of the rotor's thickness, I had to add a shim behind one of the pads in
Okay.
order to make full contact.
Right.
So,
That makes
and
sense.
it worked out perfect. A lot of guys are starting to do this now. I think I did this in 2020, and it, I mean, it just worked out great.
Yeah. It looks really good. And I can't wait to even, start upgrading my bike and stuff, and we'll talk a little bit about that more here in a little bit. So, let's go to this picture here.
Oh yeah. So when I joined Phatmoto Mods, and this was my
Info.
thanks for ad photo.
Oh,
And
sorry. I
man,
thought
there was a pretty good uproar when I posted this bike.
yeah, I bet there was. I remember when, you posted initially, I was so amazed by it. I was like, "Is that a fat moto?" And
Yeah.
I saw, I was like, "It is a fat moto." Just amazed by looking at it. I was just like, "That's a motorcycle," but it's not. It's got pedals. Yeah,
Yep.
it's
This is
it's really
my
it's really amazing, dude. I how did you think of all this? I mean, just
honestly, I knew what I was wanting to do before I even ordered the bike. I would sit night after night just dreaming this stuff up in bed,
Wow.
and I already had a complete vision of it before I even realized it could actually happen.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. Like, you have red lines everywhere, which I really like, the way, this is kinda the way Casey did his bike, is gonna be doing his bike is with a red and black theme, and I
Yeah.
really like how you did this. What is this up here, if you don't mind me asking?
So that is the reservoir for the hydraulic brakes for the rear.
Oh, wow, that is cool. I like
Yep.
that.
So it's a clear reservoir, and I used I think a .03 red brake,
Right.
which I don't recommend because those brake reservoirs are not meant that for that. They're meant for the brown .04. So it
Okay.
ended up destroying that,
You
but
know,
it looked cool.
can you kind of explain that to our viewers real fast, the difference between the dots? Because everybody, I know this now because I talked about it with Mr. Carl not too long ago about different brake fluids that we can use in our brakes, and some brakes are actually DOT, and
Yes.
some are mineral oil. Those are the two
Right.
main different types of oils that you can use in brakes, and you don't want to interchange them, and you need to make darn well sure that your lines are rated for the different oils, especially
Exactly.
PFD. So would you like to reiterate a little bit on that right now?
So what happened with this, because I used the wrong oil, it ended up eating up all of the rubber,
Mhm.
the plunger and everything. It completely destroyed that over time.
Right,
So if you don't, I used it because it was red, and I kind of knew that I was going to have issues before, so I went ahead and ordered a new one before this one went bad.
right.
But I just didn't, aesthetically, I didn't like the brown up there. I wanted it red, and I paid for it.
Well, we all live and learn. Um,
Oh yeah.
but I really like the fact that you have, the red light here as well. That's really amazing how you selected that. Now, tell me a little bit more about this light. It is an actual motorcycle light, correct?
Yeah, I got it off of Amazon. It's $89, I think, still to this day.
Okay.
And if you look up motorcycle headlights, this will come up. And the reason why I wanted this light is one for the red light.
Right.
It's a running light that you can turn on or off, and also it's a shape of a badge rather than a circle, which
Yes,
I think looks better with that uh, Grom clone front end.
yes, and we'll see that here in a couple more photos. Um, what do you have on the end of the exhaust now?
So that's just a muffler that came, that actual muffler that was welded to it. So that whole assembly would come just like that from Amazon.
Oh, very good, very good. And all these things that you pretty much have on your bike, like the lines and everything, are these all Amazon and eBay finds?
So that red line there you see is part of the Nibby ac- um, accelerator kit. So
Okay.
that's going to your throttle. That's your throttle cable.
Yes, sir.
So it's going from a Nibby throttle housing, and then it'll come with that red cable, and it'll go all the way to your
Tyrion.
carburetor.
Very nice. I like this. This is giving me a lot of inspiration for my all-terrain when I get it, honestly.
Yeah. You
Uh,
can't
and
see it in that picture, but I also ordered all like the dark red brake lines as well, but they're really hard to see in that picture.
wow. Now, did you take advantage of Nader's presale?
I did not. I actually, I'm still working on
This bike.
Rage Moto
Yeah.
2.0 at the time. That's behind me.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna kind of show here in the next couple images. We're gonna move on real fast. So, what are we looking at here?
All right, so this is the first upgrade to a stock Phatmoto wheel that you will see. This is a 15 millimeter pit bike axle,
Oh, wow.
or dirt bike axle, and I'm using two flange bearings and two full bearings,
Yeah, I see the flange bearings and
or
the
four
yeah,
bearings, yeah, total.
wow. That's and see, um, I'm not bad mouthing anybody, but,
Yeah,
I know for a fact that, with Gemini, I believe they're 12 millimeters,
yeah.
and, they're still very beefy as well, but this is exceptionally beefy. Now let's go ahead and move on, to the next image real fast unless you wanna
Oh yeah.
keep on going. So this is what it looks like separated apart, so people can
Yeah.
see what's in there.
Yeah,
Uh,
so the outer bearing is the flange bearing, so then you'll have two of the regular bearings. Now those are 28 millimeter ID, which means that the stock hubs you would have to shim. And I've done a YouTube video on how to do it, and this is
right,
my first YouTube video I've ever really posted of a how-to video. So it didn't come out as well, but there was a lot of good information there on how I did it.
right.
Um, but I have learned that you can special order the 29 millimeter,
Here's the
so you
front of it.
won't have to shim.
Right. So this is the front of your bike. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to that real fast. So this is what you're shimming up, correct?
No, the outer uh, portion or the outer diameter of the bearings are 28 millimeter,
Okay.
and the hub on a stock Phatmoto is 29 millimeter. So you have to add
Add a
a
little bit.
millimeter of shim stock in there in order for your bearings to fit tightly.
Okay, cool. You're going to show me that these spare things when you come down and visit me, man.
Oh yes.
Which reminds me, everybody, there's a possibility that Mr. Brenton Jones may be visiting me in January. I just wanted to say that, and that's gonna be fun. We're gonna go riding and stuff if he comes down. He'll be in. Where are you gonna be at that time?
I'll be in Houston, but I'll shoot down there. I think it's about 3 hours away from Houston where you're at. So
It's not terribly far.
yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate the trip. So that's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun, man. I can't wait.
I'll bring
So
some goodies along with me.
okay, cool. We'll see what that has in store. So here we go. Let's look at this bike side by side. This is pretty much completed, right?
Yes, this was after I have done the rear, and I had on the front is actually a 12 millimeter in order to fit those forks. So
Right.
front has a 12 millimeter axle, the rear has 15. This
Wow.
is this motor here that I have in it is an electric start semi-automatic 4-speed, so there's no clutch.
Wow.
Yeah,
Let me zoom in on that engine.
yeah, and I got a little
Mhm.
Cavalier on the nibby. So on this, I have a 28 millimeter nibby, which is way too much for what that engine should be doing, but that engine took it,
I swear
and
I'm
it,
drooling
it
right
took it well.
I swear to you,
It,
I'm drooling right now over the beauty of this design that you have. It's
yep.
amazing how you've done this.
So this engine added to a pit bike rear sprocket. I think it was a 36 or 37 tooth. Put me up to 64 miles an hour top end.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So we'll show that too real fast.
And
That is
cruising speed at 55, and that's with the engine happy.
now everybody, when we were going through our layout and everything with this podcast, I was looking at this and I guessed 32, but it's a what? It's a
I believe
37?
it's a 36 or 37. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a 36 because I remember like the different gears you can order and stuff. And I think it's 36. But the other thing that's kind of cool is this right here. A lot of people don't like the tensioners, but I like your tensioner. It's
Yeah,
kind
that
of
one
cool looking.
that one didn't last very long, unfortunately. I ended up just going with a solid Baron sprocket tensioner,
Oh, cool.
but it definitely was better than the stock at the time because I blew the stock one out immediately.
Right. And I still run my stock, which is now I want to show the front of this headlight. That to me looks just like the Pathfinder by Indian. That
Oh yeah,
I love that light, dude. Like I'm gonna have to get me one now.
it
Uh,
really makes the bike. It
yeah,
gives the bike a really cool look.
and $89 ain't bad, and it's 12 volt, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
which that motor will support, being its electric start, it will
You have
support a 5 pound motorcycle battery
huh.
and it'll
Now
recharge it.
that's what we're gonna show now. This is what? What is
All
that?
right, so that's a battery box that I bolted directly, because as you can see, I no longer use the jack shaft. So I went through the jack shaft hole and bolted a battery box to the frame.
That's
And that's
really
what's holding the battery.
I like that. We're gonna go and move on to the next image here
Oh, yeah.
and show the front end that you just recently put on there.
Yep. So on this picture here, I have the one off of the gray bike that you just seen, and I
Right,
bought that front end off of a parts bike off of Facebook Marketplace. It was some random Honda clone bike,
right.
and for 2 to 3 years, I have been searching the web trying to find where I could buy just the front end without having to buy the whole bike. And I
Wow.
finally found it. It's a Bentilli Beast 50cc front end, and
Mhm.
it's the exact match. It's a little different than the one I had, but everything else, I mean, they're almost identical.
They look
Um,
beefy. They look
yes,
really
they are
beefy.
very beefy. This is the only front end that I could find with the inverted that would support the 4.0 wheels.
Right,
Yeah, they do have more expensive ones, but you'll find those on your Supermoto high-end KTM's and Hondas,
right.
but they're thousands of dollars. I found this brand new with everything, front axle, everything for about 450 after shifting,
Oh,
shipping.
nice. That's a big
Yep.
discount.
Yes, it really is.
So
It
we're
took
gonna
me forever, but I did find it.
yeah, that is nice. So, how does it ride now?
Oh man, the front end is like a motorcycle. It's smooth. I did have a few adjustments on the bearings and
Yeah.
the bearing races and everything. But
See
once I figured out that and got all the clearances right, it is so smooth. Uh, it, the old one here, the shocks were going out, so every time I hit a big bump, the tire would hit the bottom of the frame. Well, with the
ooh,
new one, it won't do that anymore.
right. That's really, amazing, because first thing I wanna say about the all-terrain in itself, everyone who's a noob right now, but if you're trying to choose between the Phatmoto Rover or the all-terrain, if you want something that's gonna be kinda like Brenton Jones's bike here that we're looking at, you're gonna go the all-terrain because it's more like riding a bicycle, and I've been told that from countless people in the group. It's more like riding an actual motorcycle,
Yeah,
and if you design it the way Mr. Jones has it, you've pretty much got a motorcycle, built
yeah.
with pedals, and you can
And
eventually
one
go
thing
ahead.
I do want to bring up is a lot of guys ask me about what how I did this, and most of them have a rover, and unfortunately, because of the chain alignment, the the motor is just too wide to go on the rover, and also you can put one of these engines in there, but it's going to be 70 cc to you may be able to get a squeeze of 110 in there, but 125 is way bigger, and the all-terrain has a bigger frame than the rover. You have more space to put a bigger motor in.
Yes, and that's the one thing I wanna talk about really real quick. A lot of people are wanting to do 212s, Predators, and things like that. You need
Right.
the all-terrain if you're gonna do a bigger engine.
Yeah.
The biggest you can really go on a Rover is the 105. I think it's the 154F by Lifan or a Honda, type engine,
Yeah.
to be honest. You know, what would you say the biggest engine a Rover would handle?
I you could fit a 70 cc pit bike engine in there
Yeah.
and be comfortable, but you would still have to utilize the jack shaft
Yes.
because of
That's what I
the
figured.
chain alignment.
Right. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's what y'all are facing if you're planning on doing something like this. Even the bigger engine builds that are not pit bike motors, you're gonna need the larger frame, and, the all-terrain is where the answer is for that.
Oh yeah.
And just a tip and trick, y'all, because this is Fat Moto Tips and Tricks. So, up next, we're gonna show the engine real
Oh
fast.
yeah. So
So
I kind of just drew this to show you where I'm mounting these engines. A lot of people have gotten on to me, oh, this engine's meant to be hung from the top and the back. It's not meant to be hung from the peg mounts. But if you look at all of your shifter carts, they're mounted in this way. They're
right.
mounted from that rear that I got the arrow to the base plate, and then a piece of angle iron bolted to each side of the peg mounts, and then that is bolted back into the base plate to get your angle.
Wow. See, I really like this image. Explain, um, the wires.
All right,
What are
so
these wires?
the wires there generally on a LaFan, you'll find five wires coming out of the stator.
Okay.
Uh, Three of those wires are for ignition, and they'll go directly into your CDI, and then from the CDI go to your ignition coil.
Very good.
And then you'll have two more wires, charging wires. They'll send an AC current from the stator to a rectifier, which will transfer it into DC power, so you can charge
Yeah.
either a rear brake light or you can charge a battery.
Very nice. I really like that.
Yep.
This is making me really think about stuff here. So up next, we're gonna look at something else. This
All
is
right.
why.
So the infamous crack. All right. So this is what happens when you put too much motor on a Phatmoto frame. A lot of guys have had this crack happen,
Now
which
this is I'm gonna interject real fast. Now the new 2024 frames are supposed to be beefier in the back, like where we're having these issues on the older frames. So you go ahead and continue and talking about
all right.
this.
So this right here is the reason why my gray frame is up there on the rack there, not built out like the green one here. Uh, at one point, I put a huge motor on the bike, and my very first test ride, it destroyed the back rim and cracked the frame.
Oh wow,
Yep.
wow, that's definitely saying something there.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's we've had this happen to other people in the group as well, and it happens. The older frames, it will happen, and that's why you are beefing up one of your frames right now, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So they're seeing this crack not only on the Fat Moto, but any of the fake
Felt
felt faker
fakers?
frames on the
Yeah.
track. They've. I just watched a video earlier today. One of the guys was explaining this, that the aluminum frames on the track are just not lasting. They're
Right.
cracking in the same spot.
Exactly. And it's common in the older frames. So we'll go ahead and show the next image here. Let's see here. Oh,
That's
you
just
got
another
you got
picture.
to
Yeah.
repeat.
All right. So
Oh,
this is the motor.
sorry about that. Let me go
No,
back.
you're good.
There we go.
This is the motor fully mounted. So as
Yeah.
you can see the angle iron that's bolted to the peg mounts, and then so it's secure to the base plate, and the base plate fits directly onto the stock motor mount plate.
Ah, I see that.
Yep. So you still have room to go front to back, left to right, and your angle. You can change your angle.
Very nice. So how'd you just wow. You're a smart individual, dude. This is I love the way you've
I
been
appreciate that,
able to come
brother.
up with all this. You've really done a great job. Let's keep on moving here unless you want to talk about this a little bit more.
Oh,
Um,
go ahead.
okay. So we're going to show this image and then we'll show those brakes another time. I'll come back to the brakes.
All right, so
Um,
this is the new way I've been doing it. Instead of using the two pieces of angle iron, I've been using a solid piece of tubing, square tubing, and it's 4 inches wide, which is perfect for fitment because you can move your engine. The engine mount is, I believe, 3.5 inches wide, so it gives you a half inch of play left or right to line the chain up.
wow. I can't wait to start doing mods with my new bike. This is going to be so much fun to be able to think about the different possibilities of engines available for the all-terrain. And everybody, the reason why I'm saying this is because I don't have an all-terrain right now. I have a 2020 Rover,
Yeah.
as a lot of you may know, and engines are not really a thing unless you're looking at Honda GX 100s through whatever. And this bike, the All Terrain, gives you plenty of options. So
Yes.
that's the
So
reason why I'm so excited about interviewing you, honestly. So
you don't have to go a full 125 to make these bikes rip.
spin, yeah,
I fit a 70 cc engine on the first bike, and I was able to get 46 miles an hour, and the bike was super reliable
yeah,
because it didn't have as much torque. I didn't have to beef up everything like I did with the 125. It was quieter. It was just more reliable. So you don't have to do a full blown 125 to make these bikes
spin,
uh, spin. You know, you can do a 70 cc or a 110, and you will be happy with the torque.
Yeah, I believe that you're right on that. So that's amazing, dude. Wow. I mean, everything you've got going, you've made it into what you want. So let's show the bike off again.
All right, so this is what destroyed this bike.
Yes.
This is a 190 5-speed Zhongxin engine. This is what people are putting in their Honda Groms to do 80 plus miles an hour.
Whoa.
And this is what initially was the final resting place of the first edition of my build. It was way too much engine, but it was
Yeah.
fun while it
It
lasted.
it's fun while it lasted.
Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, that look at the wow. Look at the mounting
yeah.
plate.
There was a lot of beefing up that I had to do, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Yeah. So, that's pretty cool looking though. I like it, even though it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another view of that headlight, y'all. I love that headlight. I really do. So, let's see here. What's next? All right. So here we are kind of explaining and how you use the die grinder here.
Yeah,
Uh,
so that little tool you see sitting up over there, that's the shape shifted. I placed that on the back side of the motor to get perfect alignment and fitment, and
right.
then after I just traced what it was,
It
so
was.
and then started cutting.
Wow. And this is the new mount, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That looks really good. Clean lines. Everything's going to be nice. And then here we go. We're showing how thick that thing is.
Yeah, so it's a 1/8 inch thick, 4x4 steel tubing.
Wow.
So I mean, it's strong. It's
Very
really
strong.
it's more than what you need. You could probably do this in aluminum, but with the amount of torque, I would recommend steel.
Steel. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Um, what I was going to ask you what schedule that is, but it's you said it was 1/8 inch.
1/8 inch
Uh,
stick. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, here we go. Here are the two engines side by side. Now, do you want to explain the lighter version versus the darker version real fast?
All right. So the lighter version is the 195 speed
Right.
uh, Grom killer engine, and then the other one is your Lafan 4-speed 125. So on the
Nice.
125 is where I hit 64 miles an hour. The other one is untested because the bike wouldn't hold up,
Right.
which I now have directly behind me. You'll see a dirt bike, which that engine's in now. And I tell you right now, it will pop it up the front wheel in every gear.
And every
It is,
gear,
it's a monster.
and it's a 4 speed,
It's a 5 speed.
5 speed. Oh
So you
wow.
have
Yeah.
one extra gear, and on that bike, I've had it up to 62 miles an hour, but the tires are much smaller. I think I have uh, a 16 inch tall tire in the back.
Right.
So if you put that with a 26-inch tire, you're going to see some incredible speeds, which I don't think the bike will hold up unless you get to welding.
Yeah. And this is everything you do it reminds me of my friend Tim. It really does with the amazing work you do. I mean, you're perfect with everything you do so far that I've
I
seen.
appreciate that.
So yeah, that's really nice. Let's keep on looking here. So this is a bigger blown up picture of it. I really like that's still a Nibby carburetor, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a 28 millimeter Nibby racing carburetor.
Wow. And I like the intake. Now we're gonna show another intake here in a little bit that he has on the bike now. It's a cold air. But this type of exhaust, I mean intake. I don't know why I just said exhaust. I was looking at the exhaust. Is what happened. But that's pretty cool. Next. Sorry.
All right, so after shredding the wheels, I was started looking for replacements. Like I wanted something that was going to hold up. Now I had this wild idea of taking two front uh, Harley Davidson wheels and converting one of them to a rear wheel
Ah,
by using a dual disc front wheel.
right.
Unfortunately, I ordered two 23-inch wheels, which are
in the next photo.
They're the closest. They're the closest on size compared to a bicycle 26-inch
Right.
wheel. Um, but the 3.5 wheels, even though they say 3.5, they are a little wider than the 4.0s.
Oh wow. So
Yeah,
long story short, they didn't work out.
yeah, they're too wide.
Yeah. That they look really nice though. I like the tread on these. I
Yeah,
really do.
the price tag was not too nice.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, those wheels, just for the rim itself was like 250, and then plus the tire was another $160 a
Oh
piece.
wow.
Yeah,
So
so that endeavor, actually, I had to take a $200 cut on reselling those on Facebook Marketplace.
oh man. Okay. Well, another live and let learn.
Yeah, so if
Um,
anybody has the idea of throwing a Harley Davidson wheel, a 23-inch by 3.0 is just too big.
too big, yeah.
Yeah.
So, would you say, I asked you earlier if you plan on getting some Geminis, do you?
Yep, I've already took advantage of Will's uh, group offer. He's doing a group buy for his rear wheel, and then
He
possibly in the
is.
future doing a front wheel. So I've already put my order in, and I need a sturdier wheel, as you can see.
And the thing I like about Gemini and Will Kid is I, the other day at work, I had someone see the bike and everything. He stopped me and asked me everything, and I told him about Will Kid, how he laces everything by hand. Everything's CNC milled by him. He it's ultimately a made by hand one man game right now, and
Yeah, he does beautiful work,
he
and
does
I can't wait to see the
amazing,
quality.
amazing work. I have the original Rover wheels, and since getting them, it's like night and day. It really is. It's not a luxury; it's a necessity, and for safety. And honestly, is what I see it
Yeah,
as. Because the way I was carrying weight on my bike back then to snap the original axle, I at one point was without a vehicle, and I was using my Phatmoto as a daily driver. So I would
yeah.
have a little trailer behind it, and I got too much weight in it, and literally, boom, it snapped the axle. So that's pretty cool, that, Gemini is gonna be out there. I wanna put him out there for everybody to know that Mr. Will Kidd is doing that sale. Jump on it, and help support Gemini Wheels
Yeah, he's
and
given
Gemini
us a
bicycle
really good
products.
deal. He's given us a really good deal. He's cut the price quite a bit for our group specifically. So
Yes.
the more we get in there, the better to help him out. And you're not going to match the quality of those wheels. After seeing the failures on my bike, uh, I really, really think that Gemini is the way to go.
Yes. I think Gemini is the answer for a lot of our problems within the wheels and everything. So, we'll go and show this now.
All right, so this was my example of what you'd have to do if your carburetor is over the tank. If you
Yes.
zoom in, there's a pulse pump. Now,
Yep.
Nibby offers a intake manifold with a import off of the manifold, and you use that vacuum to the pulse pump to supply
That would be right
fuel
there,
to
right?
your yeah. So what this does is, because most carburetors are gravity fed, if you have your carburetor above the tank, you're not going to get any fuel. So you got to add a
Exactly.
pulse pump.
Right. That's pretty cool looking. It shows off your nibby pretty darn good.
Yeah, and then the red lines just added to the aesthetics.
It really does. It really does. I like the way it looks. You did a great job there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll keep on moving on. Here's
All
let's
right.
let's go and go back to it just for a brief
Yeah,
second.
this is what I'm waiting for. I'm hoping this is going to be a Christmas gift from Mr. Will Kidd. The
That'll be
beautiful
nice.
work that he's got here at the pit bike calipers with the beautiful Gemini rotor
Yes. Of
laced
course.
up to a pretty hefty rear wheel.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see what you do with it and how it performs for you, because I
I
want to
think
get some of
it's
these myself.
I think it's going to be
Um,
perfect for my bike. I can't wait.
I think they'll be a nice addition. Meaning, have you ever locked up the back, by accident, just locked it up?
Yes, I actually went down at 55 miles an hour because
Woo!
I was in Connecticut at work,
Okay.
and on one of my days off, it had rained the day before, and the
Mhm.
roads weren't quite dry enough to be out there. But I was coming down a S turn, windy mountain road, and a car was coming. I knew if I grabbed my back brakes that I was going to eat the ground immediately. So what
Yeah,
I did was I downshifted. But because our tires are not rated to what we're doing or what I'm doing on these things,
right.
the bike whipped back and forth and put me on the ground at 55. Luckily,
Ooh,
I was wearing full gear, and the only thing I
yeah,
had was some pretty gnarly scrapes on my helmet. And
yeah.
then I had a little lump on my collarbone. It didn't break it. I went and had some X-rays. It
X-ray
was just
time.
lumped up. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was very fortunate, but it was either eat the car or eat the ground, and I didn't want to eat the car. So,
damn right. Excuse my language, y'all, but that is the truth on that.
oh
So
yeah,
we're going to show off this as well.
yep, the double wall. That's
That's
man, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful rim.
yeah, that I can't wait.
I
It's gonna
can't
be
either. I'm super excited.
exactly. It's gonna be nice once you get them. And I want to do another. If you can do an unboxing for me and send it to
Oh,
me
I
when
sure will.
you get it, that'd be awesome. I'll put that out there for Will Kid. That way he's got people doing stuff for him and stuff.
Yeah.
So up
So
next,
I
oh, go
joke,
ahead.
my bike is going to be the ultimate test for Gemini because I'm pushing more torque than most people. And if they can last on this 125, it, Gemini is going to be the way to go. You're not going to be able to beat that rim if it holds up. That's going to be the number one choice for
Number one
everybody.
choice for everybody, and
Yeah.
they're quickly with Alejandro being on the track now. We'll talk a little bit about the first podcast. He and Gemini are doing some great things here in the future. I just want to
Yes,
put that
they
out.
are. And
Um,
that Alejandro's success on the track is really what sold me on Will's rims.
yes, that was who really pushed me to get the Geminis as well. I've been wanting a set ever since I've seen them created, but I finally was able to get me a pair, and they're amazing. Like I said, they're night and day.
Yeah.
Um, they're great. They're designed for motorized bicycles. They really
Yeah.
are.
Now, I did want to ask Will when I get a chance if somebody's got some spokes loosening up, can we ship them back to Will and have him work on them, or do we need to have somebody? That's a question I want to
That's a
ask
question
Will.
for Will. We'll have to ask
Yeah.
Will on that, and I hope to get him back on the show sometime soon. Now that he's branched away from his day job and he's now made this full time. I want to get him back on the air and see what we got. For new. Just give him a short little spotlight there to advertise what he wants to advertise and all that good stuff, and put him on the
Oh,
spot
yeah.
when we can. I want to do
He's
that.
dedicated full time now to us riders, so we should
I know
show him
we
our
should show
appreciation
him
and
some
buy some of his
appreciation.
stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and show your bike again, the front end. Um, so this is with the J. Well, yours are slightly different branded, but they're the same brakes as mine. The JFOYH is Just Follow Your Own Heart brand,
Yeah.
and the mirrors are the same as mine as well. Except I have mine upright, and you have yours like the Indian Scout Rogue,
Yeah. I tried to put them on the top, and I felt like it took away from the view of the bike.
right?
The handlebars that I got on here they're Grom handlebars that you can buy on Amazon,
Right.
and they look really cool. But when you put the mirrors up there, it really takes away from the V
The V,
of the bike, right?
yeah,
And that
that
V
looks
shape kind of
amazing.
flows with the headlight. So I wanted to keep that aesthetic, and the mirrors just look way better down.
Yeah. Now I will say this, it's because I own the same mirrors. They vibrate. They do vibrate
Yes,
at
they
higher,
do.
higher speeds, and I think we're both looking for something kind of new in addition to those, right?
Yeah. So if any of the viewers have a good mirror that they like and see less vibration, let us know. So
Hit us up. Yeah, definitely
yeah,
hit us up because mirrors are an important factor on safety for all of us riders, Fat Moto
for sure.
owners, Rover, all-terrain, electric, doesn't matter. It's very important for safety, and something that you can see out of is very important. So they're great. They're anti-glare. They have two different options. You can buy them anti-glare or standard.
Yeah.
They're good at low speeds now, and they're good for bicycles, basically.
Yeah.
They're
That's
not
what they're
good for
designed
our
for.
means.
Yeah.
But yeah, the JFOYH or what were yours branded?
Oh man, I can't. We'll have to look at the.
Look at it again.
Yeah, I
But
think I
yeah,
posted a picture of the actual brakes.
let's see here. Let's look at this real fast. Oh,
Oh yeah.
this is the impressive picture here, y'all.
All right, so this is the GY6 cold air intake for Nibby or the Nibby cells, and I took advantage of it. I think it added a lot of look to the bike, but man, does it run good and it sounds great.
It almost looks like you're doing forced air in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I got the intake away from and in front of the engine, so it's not sucking up the hot air, and
right.
it's more
That's good.
forced.
That's really good. I bet you can hear it because I know with
Oh yeah.
with the Stage 2 carburetor from JMCH store on Amazon, I can hear it. Yeah, I can hear that air being sucked in, and it's
Yeah.
a decent size
So
amount of sound. So how's yours?
with the cold air tube, it gives it a bassier. So when you hear it suck in,
Road ear?
it sounds like a racing engine. It really sounds impressive.
The sound I'm imagining is just turbo diesels that I hear all the time here in South Texas.
Yeah, how it's sucking in.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So and
definitely.
also after riding this bike, a few condensation will actually build up on the outside of that tube because the air is a lot more cooled.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, that is cold after riding for a while.
That's amazing, dude. So how much did this whole setup run you right here?
I
If
think
you don't mind
around
me asking.
$120, I believe, on
For the whole
Amazon.
setup? For the whole
Yeah,
setup?
yeah, for the whole
That's not
setup.
bad. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
So
It
if you
really
look on
is.
Amazon and look up the GY6 Nibby setup, it comes with uh, an intake manifold, that cold air tube, the actual carburetor itself, and the air filter.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like I really like
Yeah, and then
that's amazing.
also they did have a package that also included the throttle cable and throttle.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing
Yeah.
that on Amazon because I'm big into carburetors right now, and I'm looking for a new carburetor for the All-Terrain when I get it, and I think this is what I'm gonna go for too.
Yeah. Right now I have a 24 millimeter on it right now because I
Yeah,
just
I
I
opted for the
doing more
17.
research on the engine. The intake valve is 27 millimeters, and
Wow.
the exhaust valve is 23 millimeters. So I had a 28 on the other bike, but it was just too much. The bike ran really rich all the time.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
downgraded to this, and it purrs.
so I was running real rich. Was it burning black too?
On the other bike, yes, it was,
Yeah.
but it's a racing carburetor, and I was using high octane in the bike, so I mean it was pushing. It was
Yeah,
pushing a
I
lot of
imagine
RPMs on
so.
that bike.
Do you use non-ethanol gas or regular gas?
I should, but I haven't yet.
Okay.
I actually need to find a good brand of non-ethanol that won't hurt the bank as
VP.
often as I ride.
Mr. Carl has told me VP Racing. In fact, we sell it at Tractor Supply. The VP
Oh, do you?
Racing can. Yes, we do. I
I
can't
have to check
remember
that out.
how much it is exactly, but it lasts 2 years in the can. I know that.
That's great.
That's something that Mr. Carl taught me, is it
Yeah.
lasts literally 2 years in the can.
The
And
problem with this bike is the it it will do about 60 miles a tank rather than your 100 and whatever as it with a stock Phatmoto. So you
right,
do go through fuel
you do go
quite a
through fuel
bit. And
a
if
lot
you
quicker.
average about 30 miles on one of your rides, you'll get 2 rides out of a tank.
Wow. Yeah. All right, so that's really impressive. I like the throaty this sound that you're describing. That's gonna be really cool to hear when you come down.
Oh
So
yeah.
here's the front end of it. That just looks mean. It looks really mean.
Oh
Um,
man, it sitting on this bike now, it it feels like a motorcycle. It feels like one of your Honda Rebels or something is exactly what it feels like.
wow. See, another reason why okay, moving on. All right, let's talk about these brakes now a little
All
bit.
right, so this front end comes with a right side mounted caliper
Right.
But with our stock Phatmoto, it's on the left. So what
Right.
I had to do, I got creative and used the fender bolting or the fender mounts, and I cut a plate that the hydraulic caliper would bolt on,
Wow.
and actually bolt to the fender mounts rather than the caliper mounts on the other side of the bike.
Okay. I see what you're doing there.
I actually used a hinge for a privacy fence that I bought from Tractor Supply.
Oh wow. Cool. I think Tractor Supply is getting lots of credit today.
hmm Like I
So
said, I live in that place.
I do too. So all right, here we go. Here are the prices of the axles and stuff that you got. The Beast front axle is going to be 1256, y'all.
Yep.
We've got let me go to the next slide. The upper tree plate. You paid 5183 for. Not
Yep.
bad.
And this is your standard Grom clone front end. You'll see this on most brands of your Grom clones, but
Right.
this specifically one that I got is off of a Bentelli Beast.
Wow. So up next, you got the Beast triple tree, and that's gonna be 6786. That's not bad either. Now, where are you ordering all this stuff from?
Straight from the, I think if you look at the top, scrolling at the top, you'll see the right there.
IntelliParts.com. Okay, I see
Yep,
you.
IntelliParts.com. Now, like I said, I spent many years looking for this front end, and this is the cheapest way, unless you're buying a used bike for parts. If you want a new set, this is about the only place I've been able to find a new set.
Right, right, right. So okay, up next, you're gonna show the left shock absorber for
Yeah.
just shy of 100,
Yep.
and that's for both of them.
Yep.
So it's about $200 for the two of them.
Yep. So out the door after shipping, you're looking around about 450.
Okay, yeah. So we're looking at a little bit of money, y'all. It's a little bit more expensive than buying a Bucklows fork, but
Yeah.
you'll have a motorcycle on the end of this, basically.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle quality. These forks are designed for a much heavier vehicle, so you won't have to worry about overdoing it.
Right.
And you can't beat the way it looks. It just looks mean.
Yeah,
But
it does. I agree with you. Yeah,
trying to find forks that support the inverted forks that support the 4.0 tires
hard to
is a
find.
challenge. Either you're going to spend thousands of dollars for a very high end brand of racing forks off of a supermoto dirt bike, or hey, this is the best way in my opinion.
Right. And moving on, here we go. This is the video to your bike. So we're also going to show your workspace real fast. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, sure.
So this is the workspace, y'all, that we have behind him right now. Now, who is it? That's the woodworker.
It's my father-in-law. So every time we come to Indiana, which is where I'm at now, and visit my wife's dad, he generously lets me take over his shop. And this is
Yeah.
where I do most of the metalworking and stuff. But if I'm not here and I'm at work, I'm actually working out of the back of my truck, back of my pickup.
Wow. Yeah. And that's pretty cool. You know that he lets you use his workshop. So we're gonna go back to your bike real fast. Now the last question I really have for you is this: if you could ask for like anything from Fat Moto to be seen on the future Fat Motos, because these bikes are evolving, and
Yeah.
what would it be?
So I would definitely ask Nader to not necessarily change his whole bike, but offer packages or something for the guys that know they're going to beef up the engine. Because I believe that there's a huge percentage of us Fat Moto owners that immediately go for a bigger engine. There's
Right.
more with bigger engines than there are with the stock engine, I
Oh
believe.
yeah. Yes.
So maybe offer some packages, some reinforcement packages on the frame, just a beefier wheel, maybe connect with Gemini and offer a Gemini wheel or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can
just
agree with that.
more catering to the guys that are putting the 212s on.
Right. And that brings up a good point because the fact that he's also beefed up the 2024 edition, with the
Yeah, so
10 gauge spokes, sealed bearings. We're
this is
hoping.
funny.
What's that?
All right, so looking at the new bike, he is now doing a upgrade that I did. I was the first person to do it, to drill
Oh
all the way
yes.
through the hub and actually put a lock nut on the bolts to the drivetrain on the back side, so they will not come out. So,
That's
and
probably one of
now
the
he's
coolest ideas.
also offering a sealed bearings hub, which is wonderful. So both of those upgrades I did with the stock, and I am very excited to see how uh, the new bike is going to turn out with these upgrades that
Yes.
I've done myself.
Right, exactly. And it's rather ingenious that you thought of it, and now that we're seeing it into the bike, it's even better. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's a good addition to the bike. Well, you know what? I thank you for being on the show. You
Thank
you
you
have
for
an
having me.
amazing beast of a bike, and I hope this actually see this on the racetrack in April. Are you planning on going in April? If
I
you can,
don't know
if you can
if the
swing it.
bike. I don't know if my other bike is going to be ready. It's got to go to the weld shop, and there's going to be a huge amount of uh, reinforcements. Also, I'm sliding the seat post back to give you more of a tuck on the racetrack,
Oh
and
wow,
I'll be implementing a 212 5-speed Zongshin engine. So I don't know if I'm going to be done with it before April.
April.
And I'm not sure what class I'd be in if I went in. I know it'd be in the big motors, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
It's gonna be very interesting to see that, and I'd love to get it back on the show whenever you get it finished.
oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, man, thank you for being on the show. I'm gonna go and take you down right now and go ahead and close.
All right, brother.
I'm gonna keep your bike up for a second so people can keep on looking at it. But thank you again, Mr. Brenton Jones, for being on the show. You're an
Sir,
awesome guest. You have an
thank you.
awesome bike. You're amazing. Do you have anything else you want to say before I take you down?
Oh no, we're good. And you guys be careful and always do your maintenance on your bikes. Look over them and wear your safety gear. Y'all be safe,
Yes.
man.
All right. Thank you again, Mr. Jones. You have a wonderful day.
All right, you too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Well, that was Brenton Jones, y'all. I think we had an amazing podcast today. This is his bike, up here on the screen. I think we've seen this video before on Builds, Mods, and Info. It's an amazing bike. And I want to thank all of y'all again for tuning in. It was a great show. And see you next month.